Hello and welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, and we're continuing on with our new series looking what is currently available to buy for Warhammer The Old World miniatures outside of just Bretonnia and Tomb Kings as part of a new series running over the next couple of weeks while we await a chance to get our hands on copies of rules, army lists and so on to do faction focuses and reviews and that kind of thing. So if you're not interested in Tomb Kings or you're not interested in Bretonnia, now's a chance to look at actually what army could you go into, and if you do, what can you buy right now. Now, Dark Elves is the next one we're covering. We've done Demons, we've done Beastmen, and Dark Elves is another one of these legacy factions. That means what you see in this video is essentially what is available, what's going to be available for the future as we know it. No support, no new models, no change in rules. So unless there's going to be some random made to order done, what we see is what we've got. Now, initially when I went into this, I was thinking that Dark Elves would actually be one of the ones that would be in a pretty rough spot compared to where we've seen Demons and Beastmen, mainly because of how they are presented as their own factions within 40k, Age of Sigmar and so on, and really what we're looking at is Age of Sigmar here, and the miniatures come from the Age of Sigmar section. So Dark Elves are ones I was a little concerned about at first, but I think as we go through this, they're in an okay position, certainly not in a Chaos Dwarf position, which is you're kind of screwed, and Ogres I'm not commenting on, but let's have a look as we go through and see how the Dark Elves are doing overall. So first up is you need a Dreadlord. So one of the issues I think the Dark Elves are going to have, though, is you don't have a lot of variety. So yes, you can get a Dreadlord, but right now the only Dreadlord that you can get is a Dreadlord and a Black Dragon. So trying to get a Dreadlord on foot is going to require some conversion work. And what I'm trying to present here is what you can buy now as is, or with absolute minimal conversion, at most a couple of bits or a different paint job, that sort of thing. To get a proper Dreadlord, that's on foot, which is I think a lot of the time where you might want them, is going to be difficult. So right now, if you want a Dreadlord, you're stuck with the Dreadlord on Black Dragon. So as we come into it, this is my fear of what is going to be available for Dark Elves. Can they build a reasonable force if you were new coming into this? Dreadlord is definitely an issue here. Supreme Sorceress, they actually have a Sorceress on foot as well as the Supreme Sorceress on the Black Dragon. So it's the same Black Dragon kit as the Lord. So if you did go with the Sorceress on the Black Dragon, you would then have a Lord who could convert to foot, and vice versa. If you bought the Black Dragon with the Lord and put the Lord on it, you could put the Sorceress and convert her to foot. The difference here is there is actually one without having to go down the Dragon route at all, and you could pick up a Sorceress on foot and make her a Supreme Sorceress. So definitely got, there's a couple of Lord options here, which are these two, but the variety is definitely impactful, and the variety of equipment and so on, if you're doing what you see is what you've got, is going to be a problem for you. So when you get into the hero category, Sorceress, absolutely available. That's the same one we saw for Supreme Sorceress, could be made either. If you wanted to make her a Supreme Sorceress or stand out, you could add a few bits to her base, or a few bits to her staff or something like that to make it look different, so that you could tell which one's the Supreme Sorceress and which one's the basic hero. But absolutely, either it could be used as either, no problem at all there. Right, in terms of the Death Hag, well, Death Hag on foot, yeah, I mean, if you go and buy the Hag Queen on Cauldron of Blood, it comes with, in Age of Sigmar, the Slaughter Queen, which was originally Hellebrand for the Dark Elves. So you can buy the Cauldron of Blood and you put these on it, and then you're going to have either Hellebrand or the Hag Queen you see here. You can put her on foot. So you have to get the Cauldron of Blood to get the character. So you're not going to get the character cheaply, because the Cauldron of Blood is obviously quite a big plastic model, but you can get a Death Hag, and you do have the option of getting that Death Hag on foot. You don't have to take her on the Cauldron of Blood, bearing in mind that if we look at the 8th edition book, the Cauldron of Blood itself was 200 points. That makes that hero pretty expensive. So if you were just wanting a Death Hag to go with some Witch Elves, for example, you will be able to do that, but not without taking a Cauldron of Blood. But as we'll see later, there are other things that you can do with this. So a couple of choices of heroes there. Also for heroes, a lot of people, when they play Dark Elves, really like the Assassins and the K-Knight Assassin. So K-Knight Assassin, you've got 3 options here. So Age of Sigmar. Again, this is where this is coming from. You've got the Assassin. So the one you see on the left there on foot, that is on his own. That is Shadow. That was originally Shadowblade, who was a named character for the Dark Elves. But you can use him as a generic Assassin. Absolutely. The other options here, and they're not the cheapest options, bearing in mind how many assassins do you actually want, but you could go down some of these warband things that are used for either Warcry or for Underworlds. So you've got the K-Knight Shadowstalkers here. There's clearly a whole bunch of guys here that could be used as pretty cool looking assassins and quite different as well. Nice flavour to them, as well as say you've got and you've got the Shadeborn here as well. So you've got a bunch here could easily be used as assassins. I think the only thing that you might want to do if you were considering using the main one here is you'd probably want to do a head change, because it kind of wouldn't fit with the overall aesthetic with these polished masks. I think that's something that's going to be coming more for whatever the shadowy elves of Age of Sigmar are going to be. But either way, you've got a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6, 7 assassins here that are absolutely usable as an assassin, and you've got a good 2 or 3 here that would make good assassins. So plenty of options for assassins there, so not short of those. So that's the end of the Dark Elves characters. So the Dark Elf characters are probably the most limited there. They're missing a couple of options, and the options that they do have for everything except the assassin is pretty limited. So, for example, the sorceress, you're not getting any of their mounts, like Dark Steed or Cold Ones, Dark Pegasus, anything like that. Not without significant conversion or buying multiple kits and having to marry them together. So buy Dark Riders and put a sorceress on, but you've got to do that conversion to do it, right? So the Lords and Heroes Dark Elves would need a reasonable bit of work, with the exception of those assassins. But into the core being the main part of the army, in terms of core units, well, we've got the Dread Spears. They are still available. Now, the only thing that concerns me again about Dark Elves is Dark Elves, they sit within the Order, they sit within the cities of Sigmar. We've seen all the High Elf stuff has gone. What was the original Wood Elf stuff has gone. A lot of the Dwarf stuff has gone. How long are these going to be available? And that is my concern, I think, with the Dark Elves, is because they don't fit within their own faction, within Age of Sigmar, like the Demons, for example, or the Beastmen. That how long are these guys going to be available under that Cities of Sigmar banner before some Shadow Elf faction comes out, is going to take these off the website? They won't be any longer available because they're not part of core Warhammer The Old World. So something to bear in mind with these core that we're now seeing now is how long are we still going to be able to get these, particularly if a new Shadowy Elf type faction comes out for Age of Sigmar. But Dread Spears, absolutely available, as are the Bleak Swords. So you've got your core infantry, sword and board or spear, absolutely available, as is the ones with the repeater crossbows. So again, all available. So your basic 3 types of core are there. How long they're going to be available remains to be seen. Black Ark Corsairs, pretty cool looking unit. Hopefully their base size is going to go up a touch. This was one of the units that was a bit of a pain with these Sea Dragon cloaks to get to rank up nicely. They've done it here. Now try and do that quickly without having numbered bases and setting them up for a photograph. But yeah, so the Black Ark Corsairs, though, very cool looking miniatures. Again, how long are they going to be available? But that gives you good 4 different core units so far. Dark Riders available as well, so you've now got a light cavalry option. And if you did want to put your sorceress, for example, on a Dark Steed, you could do that by using the kit here. So you would buy the Dark Riders, buy a sorceress, and then try and do what would be a reasonable amount of conversion, particularly from the waist into the legs, of how you get that to look nice, but it could be done. So there are options here by having the Dark Riders, but available again as a flexible core option. Witch Elves also available. The Witch Elves are on a lot safer ground. They have their own faction in the Daughters of Cain in Age of Sigmar. They're listed as Witch Elves, so there's now an A on the front. But these ones are much more safe, I would feel, than the likes of Dark Riders, Dread Spears, and so on. So Witch Elves, yeah, easy to get hold of. Again, waiting to see how the bases sizes look with these guys, because they also can be quite a pain to rank up. Nice dynamic poses, but ranking can be an issue with the smaller bases they used to have. Cold One Knights as we move into the special category. So Cold One Knights again are still available, but are one that concerns me in terms of how long it will be available. Currently listed as Drakespawn Knights. So don't put Cold One into the Warhammer web store, you won't find it. You need to put Drakespawn in, but here you go. You've got your basic Cold One Knights here. Now the option you do have, if you could sort of dress it up a little bit, maybe put some bits of armor on the Cold One or make it a little bit different, is you could try and make the unit champion a Dreadlord on a Cold One, which would give you another different Dreadlord option. So some options there for cavalry, and Cold One Knights pretty good heavy cavalry in the past. Remains to be seen what they look like now. Blackguard of Nagaron. This is one of the it was a newer kit, but it's an iconic unit in the Dark Elves. Blackguard there, it's a dual kit with the Executioners. Pretty nice looking kit. Easy to rank up because they're pretty much all just holding the halberds there. And actually a really good unit in the past, so I'm hoping it will be the same. So the Blackguard and Nagaron, but they're absolutely available right now. Again, they fit within that Cities of Sigmar faction. How long will they be available? Cold One Chariot, again available in the Cities of Sigmar faction, listed as a Drakespawn Chariot. And then also the Harganeth Executioners. That's the dual kit with those Blackguard of Nagaron. Again, fitting in with the Cities of Sigmar. So any of these units that you see in the Cities of Sigmar section, in my mind, are at long-term risk of being available. Anything in Daughters of Cain, I think, has got much more chance of staying there for multiple years to come. So as we continue on with the special unit, Scourge Runner Chariot available, giving you again something slightly different from the Drakespawn Chariot that you've got. So with the Cold Ones, this one being a slightly different flavour, but is there and is available. I say we can't 100% confirm which units will be in the army list in the Legacy PDF, but a lot of these units are pretty iconic, and this one is still currently available. The War Hydra, again, another unit, a dual kit monster that's available in Cities of Sigmar. So how long will it be there? But it's actually a really cool, good, iconic looking unit. It was a refresh after the horrific Finecast version, and then even the metal version of the Hydra. So this is actually a great Hydra kit. I actually really like it, and I say it's a dual kit as well. But yeah, you've got good flexibility. So when I was really worried about, actually, crikey, what is available for the Dark Elves, when you actually go through the old army list and you go through what's available, while there's limited lords and characters, the characters are there. You can field all the characters you need. You've got an absolute solid base of core there. You've got a lot of elite infantry here. We've got cavalry, light cavalry, and now we've got monsters. So they're pretty reasonably set for a nice balanced force. If you want a bit of everything, it's there and it's available. You can buy it today. Doomfire Warlocks, as we move into the rare units, that's something different. They're available in Daughters of Cain, so they're again pretty safe, but absolutely available and giving you that rare option of something different. The Bloodrack Medusa. So this is another one that so essentially this is the Cauldron of Blood kit. So as I said, I was going to talk about something different when you needed your Hag Queen. If you go down a Cauldron of Blood, you're going to get the Bloodrack Medusa here, you see in the centre, on foot, which is exactly what this unit entry is. So the unit entry is for the Medusa herself, not the shrine. So that's where more likely your Hag Queen is going to be mounted on the Cauldron of Blood. And you have to get a Bloodrack Medusa, you're going to have to buy this big old beast of a miniature kit. But you're going to get 2 units out of it. So whatever happens, you're going to get a minimum of 2 units. In fact, you're going to get 3, because you're going to get, if you build a Cauldron of Blood with a Hag Queen on, you're going to get what is the Slaughter Queen for Daughters of Cain, but you could use her as a Hag Queen too, on foot. You're going to get the Cauldron of Blood, and you're going to get this Bloodrack Medusa. So you're going to get 3 units out of this one kit. And it's actually, you don't have to convert for that. That's what you're going to get from it. So, but actually pretty reasonable. So Bloodrack Medusa, absolutely available, and you're going to get other units with it. The Charybdis, this is the dual kit with the War Hydra. You can see the influence there, but Charybdis again giving you a rare monster entry, and again giving you lots of different options. So plenty of actual options for Dark Elves, more than I was actually expecting, having been that there are almost no Wood Elf kits available except in the Sylvaneth area, and there are no High Elf kits available. So I was really concerned for Dark Elves, but they seem to have survived reasonably well. Not quite as good as Demons. Next up, you've got the Bloodrack Shrine. So this is if you're going to have the Bloodrack Medusa on the shrine, absolutely available right now. If you do that, you're going to get 2 Hag Queens on foot. So, you know, either way, I mean, even if you pick up 2 of these kits, and you have a Bloodrack Shrine, you're going to get 2 Hag Queens on foot. If you build one as a Cauldron of Blood, you're going to have a Bloodrack Medusa on foot and another Hag Queen on foot. So you're not going to be short of Hag Queens, that's for certain, if you're going down this route. And actually the kit, pretty nice overall. Sisters of Slaughter, which is the last unit entry available in Daughters of Cain. So again, pretty solid there, and is a last entry in the roster and absolutely available. So again, one thing to think about is the ranking up of these. We'll see what it's like again on the base sizing, but just bear in mind that these poses with those whips can be a bit of a pain for ranking. Right, missing units. So what was actually missing? So when you actually go through the list and you go, well, that's actually quite a lot of units in a normal army list, there's only 7 missing units that there is no replacement for. So there's no High Beastmaster, and I'm talking about without any major conversion. There's no Black Ark Fleet Master. So that's 2 Lords. There's no Dark Pegasus at all. You can obviously find mounts in the Dragons and the Dark Steeds, but no Dark Pegasus, which is a bit of a shame. That's the flying mount. No Master, so you don't get any melee hero without, again, having to do some reasonable conversion work there. No Shades, and again, nothing really to represent those. Maybe you could use something out of those K-Knight Shadow Stalker kit and try and make them Shades at a pinch, but again, that would seem quite a stretch, given the sort of what you would see on Shades in terms of war gear would be quite different. So, you know, possibly you could do something there, but again, I think it's a lot of work. Now, I think the biggest thing that's missing is the Reaper Bolt Thrower. You have no ranged artillery. In fact, you have no big ranged at all. So in terms of anything with range, you're going to be reliant upon the repeater crossbows from the infantry, or you're going to be reliant on spells. You've got no big ranged war machine to deal with monsters, and that could be the problem. You're going to be reliant on your own monsters to sort of go into anything big. So I think that's the biggest impact really on is the Shades, and then the Reaper Bolt Thrower, I think, are the biggest impact on the army list. So Dark Elves, you know, you can do it. You can build an army. You can build a reasonable army with the Dark Elves. You know, being a legacy faction. The biggest concerns, as I say, are how long are a bulk of these units going to be the ones that sit in Cities of Sigmar? That is a big concern. And they're certainly not in as good a place as factions like Demons, Vampire Counts, and Warriors of Chaos. So there you go. That brings us to the end of the video of looking at the Dark Elves, what you can buy today to put yourself together a Dark Elf army list for Warhammer The Old World. Hope you found it useful. If you did and you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't know, give it a dislike, and let me know why in the comment down below, though, why you dislike the video. I can't change and improve these videos unless you tell me why you hit that dislike button. As always, if you want to see more content, hit the subscribe button. It's totally free for you to do. It means a lot for me, so thank you for that in advance. You've been watching The Ghost Owl. I'll see you all very soon.